Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker here. The Rosa, my hot rod Himalayan, she's a filthy mess right now. I put about 145 miles on this thing yesterday afternoon. About 10 miles of that was on gravel, maybe less. So she's just total pit out. And that's, you know, that's why I like it. That means I'm riding it right. But today I'm going to talk about some of the problems I've had. I've got just about like 25 miles short of 9,000. And I'll talk about some of the problems I've had with her. And some of the things I have to do. One of the things I have to do is put a new chain on. And that just came in the mail today. I've got the original equipment from genuine Royal Enfield parts right here. Chain, bow sprockets. And they also sent me an oil filter, which was a bonus. Other things I did is I put this, I had that headlight, that little light in there vibrate loose. Well then, once I got that vibration fixed, I had a little vibration here with this thing. I could reach over and grab it. Just very little, but I could, anyway, it was there. So I put this rubber hose on here like Midwest Hemi has on his bike. And that seemed to squelch that a little bit. Put my tank bag on today because I got a DSLR in there. And anyway, we're going to try to do another 150 mile run. And again, try to stay on gravel as much as possible. Of course, one of the nice things about this bike is if you do take pavement, she does it just fine. She'll go 60, 65, 70 all day long. We're going to try to get to the edge of town within a mile, be on gravel. So I just love riding this thing. That's, you know, I'm going to talk about the problems I have with this bike today, but I'm going to tell you a little spoiler. This is the best motorcycle, the most fun, the funnest motorcycle I've ever owned. It has a couple warts, but I'm willing to put up with those and deal with them. They're minor ones, and they're worth every bit of effort and every bit of problem they cause. That's my Kawasaki over yonder, and that's my hot rod lawnmower. How's that? About 20 years old. Anyway, let's go ride. Wahoo! Closed to through traffic. Let's go see why. Beautiful, man, beautiful. I'm sure I can get by. Look at that running. These old bridges can be iffy if you haven't been on them before. Let's see what we got. I've had them before where the planks are loose. This one looks good. Right there. Can you see it? Just watching us. This is the north entrance of Prairie Rose State Park. Howdy, Fuzzy here at Prairie Rose. We're going to talk a little bit about the problems I've had with this hot rod. I've got just at 9,000 miles on her now. Let's see what I got here exactly. Look how filthy dirty she is. Look at my Bigfoot. It's nice and large. It holds up anything, right? 9,002.8. I think I can tell you a few things about her in that time. Let's start with the chain. The book says it needs to be replaced, adjuster replaced, inspector replaced at 9,000. Well, I bought a new chain. It's at my at the shop, and I am going to replace that. I might let that run out a little more. But if you look here, I've run the adjuster almost all the way out. I've got about another 1/4 inch. That's 2 or 3 more adjustments, and then it'll be done. So the back tire wore out at 4,400. Got a big staple, and it was pretty wore out when I got that staple. Replaced it with this Trail Max Mission. That's been on there since 4,400. So what does that make? 4,600 miles on it. And I'm very happy with that tire. Very happy with it. Had a little trouble with the cold weather, but she's worked out okay. One thing that I think every Himalayan, if you're ever going to take your bike in the mud, you have to raise these up, raise the front fender up, or just remove it totally. It clogs up, and even since I've raised that, I've clogged it up. So you know, that's one of those things. If you raise your fender, get a headlight grill. You'll need it. But we're here to talk about problems, aren't we? Another thing while we're at the headlight, I had that little light in there break and rattle and make all kinds of noise, and took it to Baxter Cycle. They gave me a new light. They offered to fix it, but I wanted to do it myself. got that fixed, and then I noticed this thing was rattling. Very slight, but it was there. So I copied Midwest Hemi, some other guys too. They put this rubber on there, and that's helped. So when you have a single cylinder 400cc motorcycle, it's going to vibrate. Way of the world, right? Another issue that I've had with this bike, when I got the bike, the seat was hard, and it took me about 1,000 miles to get used to that seat. And my longest ride on this bike was 342 miles, 372, 77, something like that. Anyway, the seat that was on here, this is not the original seat. I wore it out, and it started, 8,500, started getting squishy. I mean, I'd sit on it, I'd feel like it would go right to the bottom. So I went and bought myself from Baxter Cycle, I bought myself this, it's called a comfort seat. It is more comfortable, it does seem firmer. It's got a slightly different shape, it shapes up here more, which I actually like a lot. Keeps me from rolling forward. That's one of the problems with the original seat, was you roll forward. My understanding is the 2022 has this updated seat or something like it, because I did ride one. You can see a video back there, and it actually the seat was actually more comfortable. I did appreciate that. Love the brakes on these things. Yeah, what else can I complain about, huh? Oh, I can tell you, I tell you what, the compass doesn't work. Never has. It worked the first short while, and then it said southeast for so long I thought I was going to end up in Florida. Thank God I didn't. Now it just says CA when I got the bike running, but I'm willing to live with that. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is the funnest motorcycle I've ever had in my life. I've had a lot of bikes. I've had better bikes, bikes that don't need any work, that always do everything just right. This one is funner. This one is, I can bear down a gravel road at loads of speed, and we took gravel almost the whole way here, maybe a mile or two of pavement. A mile to get out of my hometown, and a couple miles maybe to do anything else. But she just loves the dirt, loves the dirt. That's probably why my chain's wearing out soon, right? It's just a great machine. I did put these handguards on, which I like those, well, to keep my hands warm, but also I'm worried about gravel strikes. Going down a gravel road, I do a lot of gravel. Same with this windshield. It's large. It is a large windshield, but that's a Cal-Sci, I think it's called, made in Missouri. Cal-Sci, California Scientific, made in Missouri. But it's big. I think it's 22 inches from here to here, 18 inches wide, but I wouldn't give it up for the world. On a windy day, it cuts me down, because it cuts down the top speed of the bike, because there's so much resistance. But overall, it makes the bike smoother to run. Things I love about this, another thing I love about this bike is that fuel tank. I got 4 tanks of fuel in there. Yesterday I filled up. I did a bunch of gravel yesterday, and I got 58 miles a gallon running gravel. Who can beat that? I mean, that's just awesome. Just a beautiful thing, my friends. 5-speed transmission, which is plenty. Relatively smooth, it's a dirt bike transmission, so it works pretty good. Okay, the elephant in the room, I'm going to talk about it. This bike has that stalling problem, and other bikes don't. This is a 2021, a lot of 2021s don't, mine does. I took it to Baxter, 30 minutes later they had it running so much better. The stalling was almost gone, but it was there. Since then, I'd say it's gotten a little worse. It's still way better than it was. They told me if it came back, to bring it back in, and they would do other things to make it better. They did, and I believe them. They're pretty darn good at working on bikes there, and they've always treated me right, so I'll do that. I just, I don't want to take the bike to the shop and have them work on it, because I'd rather be riding it. So it's not a nuisance enough to do that. I think I'm on my 3rd or 4th air filter, and I'm thinking about going to the upgraded DNA or whatever that brand is, whatever brand, one of those hi-fi air filters. And a friend of mine got the hi-fi air filter, and he has one of those open inlets. You pay extra, and it's supposed to let more air in. And I don't know if I'm going to do that. I rather enjoy how the bike runs. You know, it's a low power bike, but it's very good power. It just like I said, for gravel roading, you know, 9,000 miles, and I'll bet you 5,000 or 6,000 of that's on gravel, because every time I hit the road I want to go on gravel with this thing, and it just does it so well. Does it so well. Had to bump the mirrors out, my shoulders were in the way. Okay, problems, other problems. The front tire is starting to wear out. I'm going to run another 1,000 on this tire. I've got a brand new at home. I've got the same brand as the back, Dunlop Trail Max Mission, and I'll get that put on in the next 1,000 or so miles. Valve adjustments are coming up. That's going to be at 11,000. Same with the oil change. So we're a couple thousand miles away from that. But mile per mile, this is the funnest motorcycle on the planet, at least for this guy. At least for Fuzzy Biker, right? You get a chance to get yourself on one. Don't take it for a 5-mile ride. If you go to the dealership, tell them you want to ride 30, 40, 50 miles, and you'll just fall in love, especially if you do any gravel at all. If you do any graveling at all, the suspension is really set up for that. So it's what I mean, I just thoroughly enjoy this bike. Thoroughly enjoy it. Problems, like I said, you know, the mud thing, the compass not working right, the stalling issue, back tire wearing out. I don't know why that happens. Things like that, you know, just piddly stuff. A beautiful machine, a beautiful machine. Okay guys, I'm gonna get back on that hot rod and see what I can find. Life's too short not to, right? Get out there and ride. Yahoo! Right there in front of us are 3 deer. Right there, they're all looking at us now. I knew we'd see some here somewhere. Little ghost down here. A couple of old farms. I don't know if this is an old town or what it is. Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker here. We're gonna do a wrap up. It's been quite a ride today. A couple hours out on the bike. That is a waterway right over here. And I've stopped here quite a while back, and there's an eagle's nest in there somewhere. Don't worry, we're far enough away to leave it alone. But been doing a lot of this road. This is actually pretty good compared to some of them we were on. I found the notorious 500 road, 500 street, whatever it is. I found the notorious 500 street in Shelby County, and that's a pretty rugged mud road, and I would say that was equal to or around, I think Green Acres in Audubon County might be a little rougher, but probably depends on the day of the week. And by the way, Guthrie County beat both those roads hand down. I don't know if that's the roughest road in this county or not, but anyway, we saw a lot of deer, a lot of pheasant. A lot of it I didn't get recorded. You know, a lot of pheasants, they just kind of pop up at the last minute. We saw a bald eagle, amazing bald eagle at Prairie Rose State Park. And I know there's a nest in there, or at least there used to be a nest up in yonder. You know, those big trees, they love those things, especially by water. That looks like a, well, you can't see that, a woodpecker, a couple woodpeckers over yonder. Anyway, the Rose has been running great. I've just been having a ball on her. I'm about 50 miles from home. And it's after 6 already, quite a bit after 6. And I think I'm going to head back to home. Enjoy the ride, get out there and have some fun. Y'all get out on your bikes, get out there and have some fun. Take some pictures, let me know what you're doing. Life is too short, get out there and ride. Wahoo! 6 at night. Oh, hey, mud. We don't want anything to do with that. Landslide here. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it.